My name is Jasmine, and I am 34 years old. I have two children from my previous marriage. My son is 8 and my daughter is 6, and their father and I get along better now than we ever did when we were married. We co-parent without drama, without power games, without trying to one-up each other. It's calm, steady, and honestly a blessing I don't take lightly. We both moved on with our lives, and we both respect each other's role as parents. About a year and a half ago, I met my fiancé. He's good with my kids in the way that matters, not trying to replace their dad, not forcing affection, not acting entitled to them. He shows up, listens, helps with homework when asked, and lets the relationship grow naturally. That's why, when he proposed a few months ago, I said yes without hesitation. Everything felt solid, safe, real. Except for one thing: his ex-girlfriend. They dated for about 2 years. She ended things roughly 6 months before he and I met. From what he told me, the breakup wasn't explosive, just final. She wanted to stay friends. He didn't. She kept finding excuses to text anyway, random check-ins, emergencies that somehow always required his emotional attention. When we started dating, those messages increased. She suddenly needed advice, needed reassurance, needed closure that apparently never came. He showed me everything, never hid it. I wasn't thrilled, but I trusted him, and I assumed she would eventually get the message. She didn't. 2 months ago, I picked up my kids from school because my fiancé was stuck at work. Nothing unusual, I've done it plenty of times. The kids were laughing in the back seat, telling me about their day, and I snapped a quick photo in the car, just a normal moment. I posted it on my Facebook with a harmless caption about surviving carpool duty. My profile is private, friends only. I never blocked her. I didn't want to seem petty. That was my mistake. A couple days later, I was scrolling during lunch and froze when I saw my children's faces on someone else's page. Her page. She had taken my photo, reposted it publicly, and captioned it, "Bonus mom duties, love these kiddos already," followed by a bunch of family hashtags. I stared at my phone, my chest tightening so fast it hurt to breathe. Bonus mom! She had met my kids twice. Once at a group birthday party where she spoke to them for maybe 5 minutes. Once when she ran into us at the grocery store and my son hid behind my leg because he didn't know her. That was it. 2 brief encounters, and she was calling herself their bonus parent on the internet. I took screenshots immediately. When I showed my fiancé, his face went pale. He didn't defend her. He didn't minimize it. He just kept saying, "That's not okay. That's not okay at all." We opened his message thread with her, and that's when my fear turned into something darker. 3 days before that post, she had texted him, "When are you dumping her and coming back to me? You know we're supposed to be together." She'd called my kids baggage, said they needed a real parent figure, said I was making a mistake playing family with someone else's children. He told her clearly that he was engaged, that he loved me, and that she needed to leave him alone. She didn't. Instead, she posted my children online and claimed them. That's when I stopped feeling uncomfortable and started feeling afraid. We didn't respond publicly at first. My fiancé messaged her privately and told her to take the post down immediately, that using photos of children who weren't hers was unacceptable, and that calling herself anything resembling a parent was crossing a line she had no right to cross. She replied within minutes, acting confused, saying she was just being supportive, that she cared about the kids, that we were overreacting. She took the post down, but not before enough people had seen it that screenshots were already circulating. I wanted to believe that would be the end of it. I wanted to believe that once she was confronted directly, she would retreat with some dignity intact. Instead, the behavior shifted from inappropriate to invasive. 2 days later, flowers showed up at my fiancé's workplace. A large arrangement, impossible to miss. The card said, "Thinking of you and the kids. My kids." His coworkers thought it was sweet until he explained it wasn't from me, that it was from his ex, someone he'd asked repeatedly to leave him alone. The looks on their faces changed fast. That's when the embarrassment turned into alarm. That night she texted him again, asking if he liked the flowers, saying it was nice to know someone appreciated him even if I didn't. He didn't engage. He sent one final message that night, short and unmistakably clear. Posting about children who aren't yours, sending gifts after being told to stop, continuing to contact me after I've said no. This is harassment. I am blocking you. If you contact me again in any way, we will file a police report. She responded instantly, the tone flipping like a switch. Harassment. I'm being nice. You're brainwashed. You can't see it. Those kids need a real father, not some divorced man with baggage. You'll regret this. You'll come crawling back." He blocked her everywhere. Phone, social media, email, everything. For 3 days, it was quiet. I thought maybe the threat had worked. Then my son came home from school looking unsettled. He told me his teacher pulled him aside because someone had called the school asking questions about him. Who picks him up? What activities he does? If he has a stepdad? The school didn't give out any information, but they wanted us to know someone was asking. My heart dropped into my stomach. I called the school immediately and had both kids' files flagged so that only their father or I could make inquiries or pickups. Anyone else calling or showing up was to trigger an immediate call to us. My fiancé paced the kitchen, running his hands through his hair, apologizing over and over like any of this was his fault. I told him to stop. This wasn't about guilt. This was about safety. We started documenting everything. Screenshots, dates, times, the school call, the flowers, the messages, every boundary crossed, logged, and saved. Then came my daughter's birthday party. We rented a room at one of those indoor play places, the kind where kids run wild and parents sip bad coffee on plastic chairs. It was a big party. Friends from school, family, my ex-husband and his wife, my parents, my fiancé's parents, a room full of adults who loved these kids. Right in the middle of cake time, another parent walked up to me looking confused and uncomfortable. She leaned in and asked quietly if we'd invited the woman standing by the entrance taking photos. I turned and saw her immediately, phone raised, camera pointed directly at my children. My blood went cold. I walked straight toward her and asked what she was doing. She said it was a public place, and she just happened to be there. I asked how she knew about the party. She smiled and said social media was great for that. I told her she was blocked. This was a private rental, and she needed to leave. She said she just wanted to see the kids, that she felt like she knew them because my fiancé talked about them so much. That's when my ex-husband's wife stepped in. She's a police officer, off-duty but unmistakably authoritative. She told the woman to leave immediately, or she'd call it in as trespassing. The room had gone silent. Parents were watching. My kids were watching. The woman muttered that we were being ridiculous and walked out, snapping another photo on her way through the door. I was shaking by the time I sat back down. That night, my ex-husband looked at me and said something I won't forget. "She's stalking you through your kids. You need to end this now." He was right. That night, after the kids were asleep and the house was quiet in the way that only comes after something terrible almost happened, I sat at the kitchen table with my fiancé and opened every folder we'd created. Screenshots, dates, times, the messages where she called my children baggage, the text from 3 days before the post, asking when he was dumping me and coming back to her. The flowers at his work, the call to the school, the photos at the birthday party. We laid it all out in order, not to scare ourselves, but to be honest about what we were dealing with. Blocking her hadn't protected us. Being polite hadn't protected us. Silence hadn't protected us. So I made a decision that felt heavy and necessary at the same time. I wrote a Facebook post and set it to public. I tagged her. I tagged her mother, who I was still connected to. I posted the screenshots, the ones with timestamps and names visible. I explained why a woman who had met my children twice was removed from a 6-year-old's birthday party. I explained that she had reposted a private photo of my kids and called herself their bonus parent. I explained the flowers, the messages, the school call, the photos taken without permission. I ended it by saying we were filing for a restraining order Monday morning and that I was posting this so her family understood why. Then I hit post and set my phone down. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Comments flooded in from friends, family, people I barely knew. Parents shared their own stories about obsessive exes. My ex-husband commented, publicly backing me up and calling out what happened at our daughter's party. People started sharing the post. Strangers shared it. I didn't expect that part, but once it was out there, it took on a life of its own. Her mother called my fiancé within an hour. She was crying, not angry, horrified. She kept saying she had no idea, that she thought the breakup had just been messy, not dangerous. She apologized to us repeatedly and then said something I didn't expect. "Please file for a restraining order. I'll support it. I'll testify if you need me to." I saw the post. I saw what she wrote about those children. I'm sick over it. It wasn't vindication, I felt. It was relief. Her daughter didn't stop, though. She started commenting on the posts, then deleting her comments when people screenshot them. She accused me of defamation, said I edited messages, said I ruined her life because I cared about attention. Each comment only made things worse for her. People asked how screenshots with visible timestamps and phone numbers could be fake. By morning, the post had been shared hundreds of times. Someone tagged her employer. I didn't do that. I didn't even know where she worked. We went to the courthouse and filed for a restraining order. The judge reviewed the evidence, the texts, the school documentation, the birthday party incident, and granted a temporary order on the spot. Textbook stalking escalating toward children, he said. Temporary order granted. Full hearing in 2 weeks. For the first time in weeks, I slept. She didn't stop. She just changed tactics. My fiancé got a message from an unknown number saying she'd been served and was very upset that we'd ruined her. Her mother followed up apologizing again and offering screenshots of messages her daughter had sent complaining about my children and calling them bratty. We added her to the witness list. Then my work got a call. Someone claiming to be from State Family Services asked questions about me, about my kids, about whether there were safety concerns in our home. My boss refused to answer and called me immediately. The questions were too specific, too accusatory. I called my ex-husband, and he told me he'd received a similar call the day before. He documented it. Making false reports to state agencies is a crime. That night, another message came through from a new account. You think you won. You turned everyone against me. I lost my job because of your post. Those kids need better role models. This isn't over. We forwarded everything to our lawyer. The next day, my daughter came home confused. She told me a man tried to pick her up at school, said he was her new stepdad. The school refused and called me immediately. They had him on security footage. That was no longer harassment. That was attempted custodial interference. The full hearing came fast after that. The courtroom felt colder than it should have. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, the kind of place where feelings don't matter unless they're backed by paper. We came prepared. Binders thick with screenshots, timestamps, school incident reports, witness statements from the birthday party, and security footage from the school showing her standing at dismissal, pointing, insisting she was there to pick up my daughter because she was her new stepmother. She arrived alone. No lawyer, no support. She looked smaller than I remembered, exhausted in a way that suggested weeks of unraveling. The judge worked methodically, reading, flipping pages, pausing longer on certain messages. He asked her to explain the Facebook post where she called herself a bonus parent. She said she was being supportive. He asked her to explain contacting the school. She said she was concerned. He asked her to explain showing up uninvited to a private birthday party and photographing children. She said it was a misunderstanding. He asked her to explain the flowers at my fiancé's workplace after being told to stop. She said she was being kind. Each answer sounded thinner than the last. Then the judge leaned back and summarized it in plain language. You posted photos of children you've met twice and claimed a parental role you do not have. You contacted their school seeking personal information. You appeared uninvited at a private event and photographed minors without permission. You made false reports to state agencies, and you attempted to pick up a 6-year-old from school claiming a relationship that does not exist. He paused. These children are not props in your relationship drama. What you've done constitutes stalking, harassment, and attempted custodial interference. She tried to speak. He held up a hand. A 3-year restraining order was granted. No contact with me, my fiancé, or the children. Stay 500 feet from our homes, workplaces, and the children's school. No posting about us or the children online. Any violation results in immediate arrest. He also referred the matter to the district attorney for review of criminal charges related to the false agency reports and the school incident. We walked out feeling like the ground had finally steadied beneath our feet. Her mother was waiting in the hallway, eyes red, hands shaking. She hugged my fiancé first, then me, whispering that she was sorry, that she didn't know how this happened, that the children never deserved to be pulled into it. We thanked her. We didn't gloat. We didn't need to. Safety was the win. The weeks that followed were quieter. The restraining order worked. No new accounts, no messages, no drive-bys. The district attorney filed charges. 2 misdemeanors, probation, mandatory counseling, community service, A plea deal accepted. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired in a way that only comes after holding your breath for too long. We made changes. School pickup required photo ID and a code word. Social media locked down. No faces posted publicly. If we shared moments, it was from behind or at a distance. We explained things to the kids simply. Sometimes adults make bad choices, and that person isn't allowed near us anymore. They accepted it and moved on, the way kids do when the adults finally do their jobs. My ex-husband and I grew closer through it. We backed each other without hesitation. His wife checked in often, making sure reports were taken seriously, making sure no detail slipped. Co-parenting felt less like coordination and more like a team. My fiancé struggled with guilt. He blamed himself for not blocking her sooner, for trying to be kind after the breakup. Therapy helped. His therapist named it for what it was: intimate partner stalking, the violation of trust, the confusion when kindness is mistaken for permission. Healing took time, and we gave ourselves that grace. We postponed the wedding, not because we doubted us, but because we wanted the day to be about joy, not survival. Life crept back toward normal. My son made the school basketball team. My daughter became obsessed with gymnastics. My fiancé got a promotion. We planned a quiet beach trip, just the four of us, building memories without watchers or shadows. The kids still call her by her first name. She doesn't try to be their mother. They have one. She earns her place by showing up, packing lunches, helping with homework, sitting in the audience at school plays. Relationship comes from time and trust, not captions and claims. Do I regret posting those screenshots publicly? No. Blocking didn't stop her. Ignoring didn't stop her. Politeness didn't stop her. The post forced accountability and created the documentation the system needed to act. Some called it petty. I call it protective. When someone threatens your children's safety, you do what works. My name is Jasmine. This chapter closed with a restraining order, criminal accountability, and a family that feels safe again. The lesson is simple and hard-earned. Trust your instincts. Document everything. Don't be polite to people who trample boundaries. And if someone tries to use your kids as props, turn on the lights and don't look back.